Hey leaders, Jay Dunson here with the third video in our series of how to overcome distractions and become more productive in the workplace. Okay, so we know that distractions are everywhere and that they can seriously cost us a lot of productive time getting work done. But do you know all the consequences that are associated with being distracted? Okay, so we've already touched on the amount of time that gets wasted, but there are a lot of other consequences associated with being distracted in the workplace. And these other consequences have both physical and emotional impacts for you as a person, but they also affect your business or organization in some pretty direct and indirect ways. For example, revenue. Did you know that wasted time can also be calculated into dollars lost in productivity? There are some recent estimates that suggest that the US firms lose about $650 billion a year in lost productivity due to distractions like emails and text messages. Like, that's a pretty significant cost. So basically, we know that leaders and workers are losing about an hour or two a day in productivity for a host of reasons. But if you were to actually be working during those times that you're distracted, you could produce more for your business or organization, and that productivity could lead to increased revenue or growth. And so that's some pretty direct consequences of us being distracted at work. But even the shortest interruptions can lead to problems. Studies have shown that even quick interruptions, even those lasting less than 5 seconds, increases the number of mistakes when you're working on a project. So you might think that, a quick glance down at your phone when it pings is no big deal, but it actually increases your chances of making mistakes on the job. And mistakes mean that you might have to do some things over, or it could lead to consequences that you can't take back. So focus is so important when you're trying to accomplish whatever it is that you're working on. But let's go back to some of the personal effects that distractions have on you. So imagine you've got 2 hours left to finish a project before it's due, and about halfway through that deadline, someone walks in and to discuss something with you, and that conversation lasts about 15 minutes. Well, now you've got less time to finish, so you start working faster and still get that project done on time. And surprisingly, the quality of that project won't suffer just because you rushed to get it done. But unsurprisingly, this does have an emotional effect on you. When you're distracted, you experience more stress, frustration, and hurry due to time pressure than those who remain focused. And you know that rush that you get when you manage to just narrowly finish a task before the deadline, or you're constantly running around from one event to the next, or endlessly checking your phone for notifications. Personally, I sort of enjoy that rush feeling, and it makes me feel a little bit alive and keeps me from feeling bored. In fact, there's been times where I've been known to sleep in just long enough to rush out the door to make it to work on time. However, if you live like that continuously, it starts to take a toll on your body over time, and living from one rush to the next can become really unhealthy. There's even a term for this constant anxious busyness, and it's called hurry sickness. And hurry sickness has long-term consequences that could cause you to become less productive and focused on important goals because you feel tired and stressed out. And if this isn't addressed over time, then it can really start to cause some physical health issues as well. Being distracted has its fair share of consequences such as stress and hurry, and the more stressed you are, the harder it is for you to focus. And being easily distracted is an indication that your stress levels are pretty high. And this elevated stress can lead to you having a harder time concentrating or cause your mind to wander more. And it can make it difficult for you to formulate thoughts. You might even experience feelings of murkiness or forgetfulness. All of these things are consequences of you being distracted. Here's the deal. In today's business world, you're expected to be able to work on multiple projects at one time, switch from one task to the next, and deal with an increasing time pressures. And it may not be fair, but it is your problem. And that's where it becomes increasingly more important for you to learn how to eliminate distractions, learn to focus, and produce more. If you don't learn these skills, then unfortunately you may see your job performance suffer. And as leaders, it's important to know what's at stake and the consequences of distractions. Ignorance is not always bliss, and if you don't sense the urgency or the need to focus more and produce more, then likely you experience the same level of diminishing results moving forward. But my hope for you is that you would sense this urgency and have the desire to be better, to become better, and to set an example of a focused life. And I encourage you to take time to reflect on how you've seen distractions affect you personally and organizationally. Take a few moments and do a self-evaluation on your stress level. Do you sense that stress and hurry may be leading to some unhealthy patterns in your life? I believe that as leaders, we can learn to regain a healthy work life and still be more productive than ever before. Come back for the next video to find out how you can set yourself up for success.